the Commonwealth's mask order can safely be lifted on June 28th or when 70% of adults get their second dose.
Breaking news at noon, June 28th, Pennsylvania's mask mandate is lifting. Acting Secretary of Health Allison Beam says hitting major vaccination milestones means we are on track to reopening. Thanks for joining us here on KDKA News at noon. I'm Lindsay Ward. The state says the mask mandate could be lifted even sooner if Pennsylvania keeps going with our shots. Yesterday, the state announced 70% of adults have gotten at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. And if that number keeps climbing, the mask mandate can be lifted.
So on my birthday, June 28th, in Pennsylvania, will be the mandate mask will be lifted. You see, the people that have been going into the stores recently without a mask on are the ones that are vaccinated. And what they're feeling right now is they're feeling what I felt like in the beginning when I was going through the doors without a mask on. They have that freedom feeling, but the only difference is that they don't have the persecution to go along with it. In the beginning, when everybody was wearing their mask, and if you go in, number one, you're usually going to be harassed, especially in the beginning. Somebody's there at the door to tell you to put a mask on. And then if you do go through, well, then you have to deal with this feeling of, judgment, uncomfortableness. Is somebody going to come up to me and tell me to get out of here, call the cops on me? Well, yeah, that's what they did do. That's what they do. So the people that are going in the stores now, they have this sense of relief, and I'm seeing it more and more every store I go into. I went into Home Depot the other day, and three out of four of the employees didn't have their mask on. But it's because they got vaccinated. And then people going in the stores, they're like, people are just, I don't know, they have a better feel to them because they're finally free. Can you imagine? I mean, yeah, for most people, you have a job and your job is wherever it is, but you have to wear a mask. And then the vaccine comes out, and now that they have that, they're free from the mask. They have a better attitude towards things at work because now they can breathe. But I've enjoyed that feeling all the way through. I didn't have a period of time where I had to comply. So, but going through that experience of having to wear a mask to go in a store, and then to be somebody that gets harassed, persecuted, and the cops called on them, that also, like when I went in the stores and nobody did bother me, and after plenty of times just doing it and doing it, what it did for me is it gave me the freedom, just like the people have now that are vaccinated, and they're now all walking in, they're free. I had the freedom feeling, just like they have. However, they have the freedom feeling with acceptance. They have freedom, but they feel accepted now. I had the freedom, and I did not feel like I was wanted in the stores. How can you if a cop is called on you? So that's the only difference between dealing with it back then, being free, and then being free now to those that took the vaccine, because now they feel accepted without persecution. But what it did for me was it helped me to, it not that I can, not, I'm not saying that it helped me to not care about what people think, because that's what the problem was. I'm focused in on caring about what people think. Ultimately, it comes down to this. It has nothing to do with the way people think. It has everything to do with you not caring about what you think somebody's thinking. We're all wrapped up in our heads, concerned about other people's thoughts. But truly, the reason why we're judging other people, or the reason why we feel bad, or we feel anxiety, or we feel judged with ourselves going in the stores without it at the time when you're not wanted there at all, from the gate, you're trespassing. As soon as you go in there, you're trespassing. So now that there's experience under my belt with doing that, I've learned that it's not about me caring about what people think. It's about me caring about what I think somebody is thinking, and my perception of what I am thinking people are, their thoughts in their brain. And then that would make me feel uncomfortable at times, and then I would, after so many times doing it, it's just like it just becomes second nature. So the most positive thing that happened to me within this past year of the coronavirus, being in the dominating the world news, all these people, all these death numbers, shutting down the planet and then starting over again. Before that happened, I was more up in my head about what I thought that people were thinking. And one way or another, if I felt judged, or if I felt like, somebody is thinking positive, I've learned that my own head is in my way. My head is in my way. My own worst enemy is right up here. Because when you went from the car to the beast, to the door where the beast is at, from the time you go to the vehicle to the store, when this was happening in the beginning, testing the waters, people harassing you, going from the car to the door, that beast was greeting you the entire way, getting you to feel anxious, because my heart would pound sometimes going through there, because I'm facing my fears. I know even if I got to make it look as ridiculous as possible by putting on a Trump mask or something, or a ram's head mask, or a woofy mask, or an alien mask, just doing whatever to get through the door to see what I'm going to get away with or not. And so over the past year, I've learned how to not actually care about what I think. I don't care about what I think, because what I think, that first initial thought, is my enemy. It's my omnipresent demon that will always, because it's the bad side, the good and the bad, positive and the negative. That side is always omnipresent. When you learn how to turn it down, silence the first thought until you condition your first thought to be you, because you can hear what your enemy sounds like. And as you get to that door, you hear it. Like you hear, in your spirit, you hear somebody's going to bother you, they're going to call the cops on you if you like, there's always like these anxious thoughts that you have for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. I've learned to cast out that first thought, mainly over this past year, because of the virus. Before the virus, since I've been alive, the world has never been shut down like that, and they're forcing you to do something in order to go in the store. Anything that was set out to be negative from Satan, you just take it and you squeeze the positive out of it, and then just toss the negative. And it backfires on the enemy. And then the more you cast out that enemy, the more you can help other people do the same thing. Going in, just go in without your mask, put it in your pocket, just to see, maybe nobody will even bother you. And then you can walk through. I was helping my co-worker, the supervisor, Oz, because he was there at the new job. I was helping him understand, or I was telling him about the mask thing, and I'm letting him know, look, nobody's making me do anything. I go into the store all the time. I don't get bothered anymore. It's up in your head. It's only up in your head if you want to do it or not. So then he started to go into a couple stores, and then he goes in the store. He's like, oh man, I felt like liberated. Like it's something. It became a high because you're the only one that's not wearing it, but yet nobody's even making you do it. You cast out your own negative mindset that's putting you in fear, is what happens. So I helped them get rid of that. But here's the funny thing. He's getting a little bit too comfortable, right? So he went to Home Depot to pick up some materials. With the company card, has his name on it. He got his, PRDC shirt representing the company, going in, picking up the materials that he needs. And then when he got to pay for the stuff, the card didn't work anymore. So they had to send him a new card. Mind you, that, like Philadelphia is like a big Masonic city. And you got builders that build a lot of buildings because that's what the builders do. They take stones. Some get rejected. Some they use. Some that they've rejected they probably shouldn't have. They should have used. But either way, when you're representing a company that has a lot of pull in Philadelphia to be able to get prime real estate like 12th and Chestnut type of buildings in the dead center of the city, which is the most expensive place. When you're able to do all that, if you're going into a store and if you're not like complying and you have a company shirt and you're the only one in there not complying, and the company has a perception, I guess, that you need to be upheld. Well, I said to Oz, the wizard, it's funny that before I went to this job, Toto, the Wizard of Oz, Clec was shown, and then I go to this job and Oz is there. And then, so I said to him, well, you ever think maybe you're not representing the company by complying with the mask order, and maybe they just canceled it on you to kind of teach you a lesson to maybe next time you should wear a mask going in when you buy something for the company? It was just a thought. But things like that do happen. But now the mask, nobody has to even wear one at all. Like nobody. Do you know why? Because Justin made a good point. If you go in a store and somebody is asking you for your vaccine proof, it's illegal. You can't, but you ask them, well, hold on a minute. Hold on, and then you get your phone out and you let them know, let me record that again while you ask the same question because it's illegal to do so. What was that? And then that's it. Because you don't have to even walk in like, no, I'm vaccinated. You don't even have to lie like that. Although you are vaccinated, because what is it that you are protected from when you have a vaccine? You're protected from a disease. Some people say alcoholism is a disease. Some people say lying is a disease. And if you're protected from a lie, then you are vaccinated because you have the truth. The vaccine for a lie is the truth. So the truth is, I'm vaccinated because I know the truth and I don't need the vaccine. But now that people are going in the stores unmasked more and more, just like my wife at her work, they told her when people come in, like they still have to wear their mask at the moment, but you can't ask. It's like they got hip to this law way faster than the not this one here. They weren't too hip about the exemption of not being able to breathe, but the vaccine, if you don't have it, I mean, if you just walk in, they're just assuming that you have it, and because nobody was going in the stores without a mask on the entire time. All these stores that I've been going to for the past year, being the only one in there, rarely I'll see somebody. Recently, it's the workers in the stores now. When you start seeing that, you know that that's what it is. So now, when I go in the stores, I don't quite get that feeling anymore. I don't get the. It's like a high. It's a high because I'm defeating something that all of these people in here are not even attempting to defeat, which is their own enemy inside of their mind that is telling them they have to put this on before they go into the store. And the fact that you no longer now care about what you think other people think. You no longer care about your own perception because your first initial thought of your enemy is sending these perception signals your way as to if you know what somebody over there is thinking about you. And if you go through the stores with your head down, not looking at anybody, not knowing if people are looking at you or not, opposed to walking through, this is all about mental health. This is all about casting out the negative energy you have in your mind and the quality of life, moment to moment. When I would go into these stores like that, I'm defeating it every time, and I'm fine tuning it, because to go through and then to see the workers and to ask them, like, think where something is, just to encounter them to see if they're going to bother you or not. And then you wind up realizing after all this time, it's all in your head. To sum it up, the enemy that has been talking to you is you, within you, the two that are within you. Your enemy is omnipresent with you, will always be there, will always have the exact opposite and try to lure you to doing it, no matter what, till the day you die. So if you can accept that and understand that, all right, well, hey, look, I don't always have to listen. It's just like eating and fasting. You learn how to grasp that first thought that is hungry. I'm hungry. Yeah, who cares? Good, fatso, stop eating. Because that's how I get myself. I get tired of being tired about it and complaining and not fully stepping it up. Even with working out and not working out enough and not staying with it. I'm done. I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of being tired of complaining about it and not stepping it up another notch. So it's time to step it up another notch with everything. Every level that you are lacking, step it up one more notch. You do workouts, you do whatever it is, do a couple extra more that you would normally set a limit to for yourself. So all I've been trying to do for the past 4 years, really, is to help anybody understand what I've learned to be true, to open up your mind and think twice about the things that you thought only once about. And when I started to catch on to how to grasp this thing that's been eating us alive, it's the spirit inside of us that communicates with you through your own voice with negativity and hostility. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's your thought, that you have to dwell on it, and it doesn't mean you're sinning, like you have a horrible thought. Look, people think the craziest things. You don't always act on it. But just because you're thinking it, the majority of the planet believes that that's them. That's them. That's me. That's what I am. It's your flesh. It's your carnal mind thinking. Think twice. Get a second opinion. Stop reacting off of your first initial thought. If you have any issues with lack of patience and if you get anger easily over anybody, even if people on the other end are still that way towards me, because you're holding on to the things I've said and done in the past, or maybe you don't like my date setting, and maybe you don't like the fact that I think I'm communicating with the people that run the planet, and maybe you are from the inside and you do know that I'm communicating. Makes you feel uncomfortable because of your position, and then that stirs up a little bit of irritation. Look, I've already apologized to people. I've already asked for forgiveness, and I've asked people to forget about what I've said and done in the past and just make a new clean slate. Because I put myself out there every single day, just about, and there's not too many people that do that aren't hired to do it. And when you do that day in and day out, yeah, you're going to develop some enemies, because I've seen a bunch of my old videos, and even still to this day, to recent videos, I don't take my thoughts captive, because I just let it run. But this topic, I'm keeping it straight, because I do understand that this is the most important thing that people can possibly grasp, because it's the most important thing that I finally grasped. And it's something that when you finally get it, you have this relief, you have this feeling of like you're just relaxed more. You hear what your enemy, and you don't feed into it anymore, because you've seen where it goes, and it's a waste of time. You live your life moment to moment to moment to moment. You can be thinking of something, you don't even know what it is, but it starts to like irritate you, or you start to get anxious or stressful, but you don't stop to capture that thought. And you go like this. Whoa, hold on, back up. Why am I feeling like that? Hold on, what was I just thinking? Because you got to catch it. This is that spirit that I'm trying to give you a visual of what it's like to see it and to capture it, and then to put it in prison, because that is your enemy. That is what's been speaking to you from birth, that first initial thought. What do you think children do? They think something first, and they're off doing it, because they don't think twice. That's why people get in trouble. When you're a little bit more patient and you think twice about things, you tend to start to realize that all this time I was literally battling myself. When you can be yourself around anybody, no matter what you're doing, staying grounded and being yourself, don't change. Don't get anxious. Don't get stuttery. Don't get uncomfortable. You can continually just be who you are, and you'll recognize your old you trying to throw some anxious thoughts in there. It's just like, out of here. Because it's almost a joke now. Like your enemy, because the light was shined on him. Look, he was hiding in the dark. That's what he was doing. He was hiding in the dark, and he was speaking in your voice. And he tried to get you to believe that he doesn't even exist. So if Satan can get you to believe that he doesn't even exist, you think you're you, when you're not. You're you and him. You're both. Both of you. So it's a struggle. When you finally see it, you turn the light on and you see what the enemy is, you finally cast him out of your mind. And no matter what position you're in this world, it doesn't matter what people say the world's going to look like or what's going to happen in the world in the future. Or if you go over to Kleck's video and it's all fear porn pushing that the end of the world's here, but he's so excited about the end of the world. Like, yeah, all these things. But that's kind of funny too, because he does all those street theater traveling. I think Ezekiel did something like that. I'm not sure, but one of the prophets in the Bible, they would do like certain things like that. And so, but that's what Kleck does. But when he was doing it in the beginning, it's like he wasn't really hearing from the Lord that he's hearing from now. But he was playing that out. And then from that point on towards the end here, because we're at the end, because this gospel has been preached throughout the entire world, and now the end can come. So now that the end is here, he's actually witnessing that the Lord actually is speaking with him. But it sounds so ridiculous if you don't believe it. Because I can see perception of people's minds when they watch Kleck's videos, and it's like all this, yeah, okay, like all this, the Lord talking and saying this and going here and doing that. Well, what if the Lord actually is talking to him now, and he is actually in repent mode, where he's turning from the things that he was doing from before? I mean, it could be possible that that's what it is. And then now, these days, you are acting something out, and then by being the actor of that character in the Bible, you start to become that character in the Bible because it's really true now. Like you're really getting communication with the Spirit that comes from the Father. And there's a few others that are doing the same thing. When you can communicate about things, but you're not actually talking to each other, that's the Father in heaven, the Spirit, that you're now grounded, you're plugged into, you're tapped into that circuit board called the Father in heaven. And anybody else that taps into that Spirit and that plugs into that circuit board, you're now communicating with the Father. And because you do that, that's what true talking in tongues is. You hear each other in your own language. Ain't nobody drunk. It's the 9th hour. You're hearing each other as you're speaking clear English, but the words that you're saying and how you present it delivers another spiritual meaning, which is when you can reciprocate back and forth continually, that's speaking in tongues. It's not speaking jibber jabber. That you have no clue about what you're talking about. So the state is lifting its mask mandate by June 28th. The mandate will be lifted even earlier if 70% of adults get fully vaccinated before then. So what's the next step? What's the next step? Because 70%, which means 30%, you're not complying, are you? Well, Joe Biden there is looking to get the entire United States vaccinated. It's important to do that. So how are they going to? What is this next level going to look like? Because we're part of the 30%, and I mean, yeah, right now I can go into any store, not get bothered, just like before. I thought that you would have to have a certificate of proof that you have it. Some people do. However, it's illegal to even ask people about it. And for some reason, they have a better grasp than they did about not being able to breathe, saying I'm exempt when they say, sir, you need a mask. Now that people are going in without the mask on because they have their vaccine, 99% of the people believe that anybody that's going in the stores must have been vaccinated, because 99% of the people are lost and they don't know that you never had to wear one in the first place. They didn't know that because they didn't have the knowledge. So when you have the knowledge that, look, right now it's a clear open door, because I would say most of the companies know when they're telling their employees you cannot ask them for proof of vaccination when they're not wearing a mask. It means that everybody is just assuming they got their vaccine, so they're leaving it like that. But can you imagine the people that still don't have the vaccine and are still wearing their mask, complaining, going in the stores, and they still don't know that you can just walk straight through just like they are, with or without the vaccine? It doesn't matter, because they cannot possibly ask you for proof of it, because it's an actual against the law, like more of a severe against the law than discriminating against someone that can't breathe and shows you a card. You just go buy offline, and it's just, I exempted myself. I'm exempt because I can't breathe when I put a mask on. Therefore, I'm exempt. I'm just following the CDC guidelines. So I'm following the CDC guidelines continually on the other end. That benefits me, because it doesn't benefit me if I have to wear one. So 30% of the people by June 28th, what are they going to do to try to get the other 30%? So there's 30% that aren't complying with the vaccine. There's probably 29% that are still going into the stores with their mask on. 70% of the people are going to be walking in the stores without a mask. 30%, 29% are going to be walking in with the mask. So now the tables have turned, where the people that got the vaccine are feeling more like, flexing their muscles a little bit because they got their badge, their, certificate, and are feeling like Superman, because now this deadly virus, think about what this does to the psyche. If 500,000 people died in America from that virus, and they now have the vaccine, and this is a deathly thing that's been killing people, and they now got these shots, and they feel invincible, and they feel great because they don't have to wear it, and now they can breathe, not knowing that whatever they got, what is it? An air shot? No, that would kill you, right? Is saline? Is it just what do they put in you that does nothing? Because there is nothing. If there is nothing, what they put in you does nothing. It's all up here. Everything is up there. And it's been like that from the beginning. So the 29% are going to keep going in the stores, or they'll be working and because it's being lifted, but you're still required to have a vaccine to go in the stores. Was that supposed to keep us from being able to go in? I mean, is that the B system where, because I thought, oh man, this is the B system. You can't buy or sell now without the freaking mask. So I stopped going to the stores. Then I started to go back into them. Then I realized, wait a minute, I can still buy, sell whatever I want without one. And then now that people are all unmasked, the minority are those dummies that won't get the vaccine because you got to keep wearing your mask now, 29 percentile. And then the pressure of peer pressure, because now you're still wearing your mask. Hey, Larry, look at Fritz over here. He's still wearing his mask. What a loser. And then it's the peer pressure of you're supposed to feel that way in your mind and be bothered to be pressured into getting it because you still have to wear your you still have to wear your mask. And maybe they turned the signs from back to normal. There you go. They turned the signs back to normal, which is you cannot enter the store with a mask. You must be vaccinated. Oh, that's perfect. And then the ones that don't get the vaccine and they're still wearing a mask and they're to 29% and they're still not complying, but they still want to go in the stores, well, then that's a way to keep them out of the store, saying no mask allowed, but you must be vaccinated. And then because you don't have to prove your shots, but they don't know that because knowledge is power. Once you know the truth will set you free all the way through. So that 29%, will that finally be the camel that broke the straw, the back of whatever that saying is? Will that be the final straw that breaks the camel's back? And then they get 99% of people to comply. And then there's that 1% that just won't do it. You won't do it. And they can't stop you from doing anything. So that 1%, I think, what was it? David had to number his people and then repent for it afterwards because was it, or what was that? No, was that Caesar also? Somebody numbering, maybe it was both, numbering the people, taking a survey or something to get to see who is going to comply or not. And because this is a slow ass process. I mean, it's a lot longer than I thought it would be, and it is a wearing out of the saints. It is. But at the same time, the enemy is after the saints that are being worn out too, depending on which side you say the enemy is. So 99% of the people will be vaccinated, and then here comes the 1% not complying, and they can't scare you into putting a mask. They can't scare you into getting the vaccine. They can't stop you from going in the stores, buying or selling, because you know the truth, and the truth set you free. You know that they can't ask you. It seems like a good manifestation of the script that was planned to happen. But what if that 1%, what could they possibly do? Say all of us, they can change the law and say you need your because it's going back to everybody just thinks that everybody already was vaccinated and you're walking in the stores regardless whether you are or not, because now I don't feel like I don't feel that empowered feeling because I'm just blending in with the sheep now without a mask. You don't even have to go in with a mask undercover for the sheep, because now you're just blending right back in with the sheep without a mask. Full circle. It seems like it's a little bit like it's too good to be true type thing where, yeah, here everything is, it's no more deaths in the Bible. Remember, no more tears, no more deaths because the vaccine's here, and no more death. Nobody's dying anymore because everybody got the vaccine except for those couple people over there didn't get it. But that's why the second 9/11 is still on the horizon. And I mean, the final date for real that I can possibly set would be 9/11, exactly 20 years later. And that's what it was always going to be from the beginning. It was always going to be a COVID-19, 19 full years to the 20th year. And then that alone, no matter what happens, that would be considered second 9/11. There's only 3 more dates left. And that is it for me. I am done predicting it. Because I also know that people have, they underground, they did a ceasefire. And I don't really think they're going to be blowing up Philadelphia while they're all underground hanging out and everybody's meeting and stuff like that, if that's the case. But Trump did say he was there at 7-Eleven when the towers went down, and 7-Eleven, it's an interesting code for like lock boxes and stuff. I've always seen that around. That's interesting. And then 6/11, June 11th, because 9/11 backwards. And Philadelphia having a little bit of strength right there, Broad Street. 6/11, it is 6/11. It only makes sense that the 120 would be Masons up in the upper room, the house of Judah. And then they go to the house of Israel. Because isn't that what everybody is? Isn't that who all the apostles are? Isn't that who they are? This whole thing was being played out, whether I hopped on YouTube or not, by myself, not being a Mason, being a carpenter, hopping into the hellhole, into your world. And so it only makes sense that everybody that was playing the end time prophecy and playing the prophets, and you have your Jesus slash Lucifer, and you have at least two, because you get the 2 brothers in there, so you're playing out the same role, but they're playing it out. The twins are playing it out in their role of what Satan, Lucifer, and Jesus is, and then another individual is playing out the same thing. But who's really who? So all these scriptures are being fulfilled, and with everybody being from the inside, well, it only makes sense that news was heard abroad, and someone from the north came down from heaven, and now that news is heard abroad, like Broad Street, one north Broad Street, someone came from the north. The Masons worship Lucifer, the light bringer, and the martyrism happens where everything is one, because that's the one thing, that the one eye, the all-seeing eye, the pyramid. I'm looking at a pyramid now, a camera. That being rainbow, and then Casimir over across the street there. Casimir is over where the Return of the Jedi is. Figured I'd share that. And at that time, Michael, the great prince who stands watch over your people, will rise up Let's go to rainbow. 1, Neo, Magog. There's the Gog and Magog. Say unto the Son of Man, go unto Gog. Right? Baraka. So 1 is Neo, Magog. 54, Mike, Eden, Bob, SpongeBob. To 54, South Broad Street, King of the South. 1, North Broad Street, King of the North. SpongeBob is in the middle. You got Mike, Danny. So you got Mike with 54, and you got Neo, Magog with 1. A lamb. Noah. Well, no, it's not 54 still. Is that Jamie the Wabbit? Why Jamie the Wabbit? So with the number 54, and then with the spelled number 1, it's Neo and Magog. Interesting. Enkie and Gog. Enkie and Gog. Mamba? Isn't that Mamba? Isn't that Kobe Bryant? So if you got Enkie, I am Baal. I don't. This is how I use gematria. I don't use it, I guess, with the ordinary way. I use it as in that there's messages behind everything else. So 54 is, 1, or 54 is Mike, and what is it? Let me go over this again. Here's Broad Street. All right, here's SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants. The whale, I forget her name. Is it Sandy or is it the squirrel? Anyway, she's always yelling at SpongeBob, and then Plankton. Plankton is here. Always trying to get this Krabby Patty formula. Turn it upside down. It slices something off, and there's blood all over the place. You go over here to the Masonic Temple. This is North 1 Broad Street. 1 North Broad. So to hear that message, the 120 in the upper room, they heard it abroad at the street. And 1 comes from the north, the King of the North. King of the North here. And then one. So 1 Neo Magog. So Neo Magog. It's the Gog and Magog war. Now that I forget what Derek had it up. the passage that says, Son of man, say unto Gog. So there's a son of man, say unto Gog, which means Gog and Magog. If it's the son of man, say unto Gog, thus says the Lord, well then Magog connected to one, Neo, representing Neo, at 1 North Broad Street. Well, if you go right over here, if you return over here to the Jedi, 54 South Broad Street, 54, Michael stands up, Eden, the Garden of Eden, and Bob, which is close by. Bob is right there. Here he is. There's Bob. Now, go down here. There's your twin system, Enkie and Enlil, right? Go over here to Johnny Kleck lookalike, and you have an E. You take the E out, emotion. Take the E. Well, 64 equals Enkie and Gog. And Mamba. So where's Enlil? So Enlil, which is 52, recognize Golan Heights. Enlil, don the change of clothes, rabbi, camp, find me. I'm looking for you. Devil. If you got Enkie and you got Enlil, one of them is playing the devil, Satan. The other one's playing Lucifer. So the devil, Nero, Pope, Gates, like Bill Gates, like whoever owns Bill Gates, Seth, New World Order. Hi, I'm God, by the way. Josh, what? Alright, so what? See, I don't think who is what. I think who is more Enkie. Because Enkie's the one that likes to party. Enkie's the one that, he loves mankind. But Enlil just wanted to do away with everybody. And he was just tired of it all. But, people's minds change. But who is on first and what is on second? Who are the false prophets? Who, what? What, me? I don't think so. So if you put all this together, where Enlil, devil, Nero, Pope, and then you take one, also still take one and connect it with Magog, because Gog has the son of man, not God, not the son of God, the son of man is coming after Gog. And Gog being over there, like Enkie, because God is telling the Son of Man to go. I got to find this passage so I can read it again.
Be left here
Therefore,
one
Son of
stone upon
Man,
another that will not
prophesy
be thrown down.
and say unto Gog, thus says the Lord God,
that's also
in
going
that
to happen
day when
again.
my people of Israel,
Period.
on
Signs
on
of
that
the end
side
of the age.
of
As he
they
sat on the
then
Mount of Olives,
dwell
the
safely,
disciples came to him privately, saying,
thou
"Tell us when
shalt
all these
not
things will
know
be,
it."
and what will be the sign
Like
of,
you're not even going to
of
know
your coming and
that
the
they're
end of
already
the
dwelling
age?"
safely in their
And
spirit.
Jesus answered them, "See
And
that
thou
no one
shalt
leads you
come
astray.
from-
For
you shall
many will
come
come
from
in my
your
name,
place
saying, I am the
out of
Christ,
the
and they
north
will lead
parts,
many astray." Now I'm going to jump over
and
here
many,
to that
you
same
and
passage.
many
right there.
people
so this
with
is,
you,
just so you
all
can
of
make a
them
note
riding
of it, if
upon
any of you are
horses, a
actually making
great
notes.
company and a mighty army.
Let me see. So this
And
is
you
going
shall
to be
come
24:5.
up against my people
I'm going to read that
of
from the
Israel
Aramaic translation, direct to English, so you can understand, because
as
it's
a
going to make a
cloud
big
to
difference.
cover the land.
For many
shall
will
be
come
in
in
the
my
latter
name, and
days,
they will say that I
and I will
am the
bring
living
thee
God.
against my land,
Isn't that what all of
that the
Christianity
heathen may
says
know
about
me,
Jesus?
when I shall be sanctified in
He
you,
wasn't saying
O
that
God,
they'll say that
before
they
their
are,
eyes.
as illustrated right here.
So God
They'll
is
say that
sending
I am the living God,
Son of
the
Man
Messiah even.
to prophesy and say unto
He says
Gog,
it. This is the direct translation from Aramaic.
where's Magog?
So this is where everybody
Is the
has
Son of
thought
Man
that the
Magog?
false teachers will say that
Because
they're
it's not the
God.
Son of God, it's the Son of Man. Who would be
We're
the
all
Son
just
of
a
Man?
cell of the Father. None of us
Well,
are
someone that was
the Father.
born of a man.
Period.
And
So I'll continue with this. Many will
shall
lead
come
you
up against
astray,
my
for
people
many
of
will come in
Israel
my name.
as a
They'll
cloud
come
to cover
in
the
his
land.
name, saying they're Christians. I
It
am the
shall be in the
Christ,
latter days,
and
and
they
I
will
will
lead many
bring you
astray. And you
against
will
my
hear of wars
land,
and rumors of wars. Obviously,
that
that's
the
exactly where
heathen may
we're at.
know me.
See
when I
that you
shall
are
be
not alarmed, for
sanctified
this must
in
take place.
you,
But
O
the end
God,
is
before
not yet.
their
For
eyes.
nation will rise against
Thus
nation,
says the
and
Lord
kingdom
God,
against kingdom, and there will be famines and
art
earthquakes in
thou
various
he
places.
of whom
All
I
these are
have
but the
spoken
beginning
in
of birth
old
pains.
times by my
Now in the
servants the
Aramaic, it says the
prophets of
beginning of
Israel,
the time of sorrows. Is
which
that not what
prophesied
you're
in
going
those
through
days
right now?
many years, that I would
Sorrows.
bring
This is where we're at. We're in the time of sorrows.
you
This is the
against
beginning.
them. Right? Bring thee
Read that
against
word
them.
again.
And it shall come to pass at the
beginning
same time when Gog
of
shall
the time of
come
sorrows
against
or
the
birth
land of
pains.
Israel, says Lord God, that
Then they
my
will deliver
fury
you
shall
up to
come
tribulation
up in my
and put you
face.
to death, and you will be
For
hated
my
by all nations
jealousy
for
and
my name's
in the
sake.
fire of my wrath have I
Now,
spoken. Surely
If
in
you
that
think
day
that sweet man,
there shall be a great
right here,
shaking in the land
John
of
St.
Israel,
Julian, if you think that he'll
so that the
avoid their
fishes of the
military
sea and
boot
the fowls of heaven
on his
and the
neck,
beasts of the field
you're
and all
wrong.
creeping things that creep upon the earth
He
and all
and
the
the
men
likes of
that
him
are upon
will
the
be the
face of the
first
earth
to go.
shall shake at my presence.
So the message that
And
I'm
the
going to be
mountains shall
talking
be
about here in the
thrown
future,
down,
and that Malia and I are going to be studying, and
And
what
the
we would
steep
like to do,
places
I would like
shall
to be able
fall,
to do
and
some
every
more
wall shall
Gnostic
fall
studies
to
on
the
the site.
ground.
I saw
And I will call for a
comment on
sword
that
against
earlier,
him
and do
throughout
some
all my
studies on
mountains, says
the
the Lord
Global
God.
Witness, the
Every
globalwitness.org
man's
website.
sword shall be against his
Because
brother.
these things, these
And I will
spiritual
plead
attributes
against
that we
them.
need to be able
I will
to
plead against him with
recognize
pestilence and
and
with
to
blood,
cling to right now
and I will rain upon him
is going to be very
and
important.
upon his bands.
So these
and
messages
upon
and all of the
the
things
many
that we're going to be
people that
speaking
are
about is
with
really
him.
a preparation
An
for one
overflowing
thing.
rain, a great hailstone, fire, and brimstone.
It's martyrdom.
Thus I will magnify myself and sanctify
There
myself,
are
and I will be known
millions
in the eyes
that
of
will
many
be martyred.
nations,
Millions.
and they shall know that I am the Lord.
Let's not play around anymore. You know what's going to happen. You know they're
We're never
security.
better.
So let's just
They're
say
literally,
that
it's all over the news now.
this
TikTok is a
represents
danger.
Enkie.
It's
Lord,
a
I pray
threat
that
to our
you
national
would
security.
raise up
The only
those
reason
bodies
it's a threat to the
to
national
proclaim
security is
and
because it's the
teach
only
and
place that people are finding
instruct and
information.
disciple. But Father,
And
I
then
pray that you
down
would send
here
your
is
Holy
Enlil.
Spirit to
Learning
do
what
that
they're
work
doing.
of
Enlil.
And in
convicting
that,
and
they will wake up.
drawing and
Now, what do they do when they
convincing
wake up? They can either,
and showing
most
your
likely, because they're
compassionate
just
love
going to
The
be
Lord
plan
of-
revelation. I mean, let's
for
look at
those
what
who
we
have
got.
command.
The markets are
right?
showing
their
how
heels.
how
Did I
get
rigged
that
they
right?
are.
for others
Enkie
who
is
have
the Lord of
Cryptocurrencies, everything.
walked away a little
the
bit.
land,
They're
shown how
doubting
corrupt
and
they
like the
are.
struggling and
landowner,
fearful.
the landlord.
Every single one of them.
Lord,
We don't
I
have to
pray
guess
that they would
anymore.
feel all of
The
them
revealing is happening.
feel
I may have it
compelled
backwards, but I'm
Who
pretty
people
sure
are in
what I
different
remember
countries,
great
why they're
love.
doing things,
Enlil
why
them
what's happening right now in
is
Israel,
the
all of these
actual
things.
Lord of
We
command.
never want to dismiss
So it's going to be
command
one of
is
two
beyond
things
hand
to
as
you.
being
First, it's
army
definitely
beyond
going to make
reach
you
or
angry.
beyond one's
And
salvation.
There's no question.
no matter what their condition,
This is exactly
only you
what
know
the parable
the true
states when it
depth
says,
of the heart,
eat of
no
this
matter what
scroll.
that person is
On your
saying to
lips
us,
it will be
or
sweet like
what
honey
that
because
person
it's
is
so
posting
good to
that we
feel the
read.
So the
truth
one that
and
comes
know
from
it.
the
We
north,
don't
but
know
in
the
your
heart.
stomach,
You do.
the news was
When it
heard
hits
abroad,
there,
the
created the
120 and
heart.
up
it
More
will
than
turn
that,
it bitter.
you can work
House
in the
of,
heart.
It will be
More than that,
awful.
you can
House of
save
Judah
a
gets
soul.
saved
Expect it.
first.
And we pray
There's
for
a
this
new
area,
battle you need to
the
soar.
souls of people whose names
And
are
then
already
the
coming to
24.
mind.
These are
Sons
new
and
battles. This
daughters,
is truly the spiritual
neighbors,
battle because
Israel.
everything that takes place
parents,
first spiritually will take
friends.
place
So
physically,
if this is
colleagues.
which is where the prophets
this
come
is God,
Because
do your work in
prophets,
their lives, Lord.
Son
We
of
pray
from. We're
Man,
for
going
them.
through it spiritually
Son of
before it's
Man.
actually hit
And we
the
pray for
3D.
anybody
Coming
who is in
against
this
God.
room who
The
has
Spirit is speaking
taken a
to them
step
and
away
showing
from
them
you,
these
or has
things.
maybe never
And
have
so in
has
advance,
even
they're
come
saying
to
all
you
these things that
So
sound
one
absolutely
being
crazy,
Magog,
like
in
we've done here for
legitimacy.
3.5 years,
Often
and many
Neo.
people have done for
they've
much
never
longer.
made a personal
I
commitment
know
to
that
the Lord
insane.
Jesus Christ.
How could that
Smith,
happen? You're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy.
Enkie,
You're nuts. You're the devil.
Lord, I pray that
over there,
you would do
here we
a
are.
work
he's taking
today,
over supposedly, but
And what do you do with
bringing
that?
some
Become
into your
angry,
kingdom.
lash
stands
out,
up.
join
We're about to
Antifa,
close the
join
service.
BLM, burn something
One-
The
down.
last couple of minutes.
I get it.
1 and 54.
You feel like you
Rainbow
want
Never
to,
and
given
sure.
your
Passion.
life to Jesus.
These angels. And
it's working
horrible
at the
time,
moment,
very scary. And it was a
It's funny,
time he's
Moto X
next to
Addict
the river,
comments on my
the
channel
river
all the time
Jabbok,
saying the same thing.
right? It's ironic
Thanks
because
for sharing,
I'm looking
brother. I
up
love you,
Jabbok.
man.
Is there a
Lord
Jabbok in
bless
Long
you.
Island?
Praying for
Because
you,
that's where I
friend.
live right
Oh,
now.
by the way, we're looking
It's
for
at a
the
point in
rapture
Jacob's
to
life where
come
he's
by pretty soon,
called
4,000 rockets
to
being
go home.
Getting ready to escape rapture.
God's
looking
worked
for
in
the rapture
amazing
date
ways, and he's
coming
done
up.
some remarkable things in
Same
Jacob's life, and
pasted
he's proven himself
and
to Jacob.
copied.
And Jacob's told him Jacob's a shepherd. And in New York, they decided that there's something that people have to do if they want to attend
What?
school.
Our God and Magog. Well, who
And I'm a parent,
is
and I'm not
and what?
anti anything.
Come on up.
It
Let's
is.
get
It's
around
been in the
these
school
folks.
system
Come
for a
on.
long time.
God and Magog are two
But I'm
names
scared
filed that refer
Because
to
you see in
person
the news,
Magog,
you hear these stories
Yeah.
of these young kids.
grandson of Noah.
Congratulations.
I don't know what to do.
Or Magog is the person that comes from the nation of
Just
God,
work so hard. So I have to decide
Magog-
whether or not
being the
And
son
all
of
the
Noah,
angels in
to let her
heaven
go
come
to
you
from
when
the
you
nation
say
of
yes
God,
to Jesus.
but what not
When a sinner
be
says
for
yes to
them,
Jesus.
people from all over the world
or the
I
two
realize
hostile
that's a
nations
free
coming
form
towards God
translation.
and
You know, just
Magog.
trust
Say
that
they
God's
It
party
seems
down,
that
but
these names were
control.
originally names of
she gets to
concrete
rejoice.
people and places,
And,
go to school
but
at
came
Word
to
College because it's the only one
present
that offers
Gentile
online.
nations that are hostile to
Real
Israel.
quickly, this isn't going to take long. Anyone else,
The name Magog was first.
you know
the
you need to
foremost
do
was
this.
first.
And like you all,
There's
y'all see the
there's a
YouTube
spot here
videos
for
and I
you.
come on and
The
I can tell you the
name
next
of
video, I'm
one
happy. Life is good. You know, because I shot the video like a day
So,
before all this stuff happened.
Magog.
So the
name
last 2
of
days
one.
I've
That's
been
great.
crying.
That's good. Come on down.
Because
It's
I
still
see Esau
connecting
everywhere I
Okay.
go.
so
Now,
far.
those of you who have come
Esau's
forward, I'm going to lead you now.
he
in prayer.
really, it's the
I'm gonna
world
pray out
system.
loud. I'm going to ask you to pray
With
out loud after me.
And I'm so scared.
Say
Broad
these
Street.
words. Say them
And
from
yet
your
God-
heart
Lining up.
as you say them to God, okay?
Just
One
show
of
me
Noah's
Lord, I give you
grandsons.
my
Magog
encampment.
was a son
I
of
know
Japheth,
Just poured out his spirit.
who
Praying
was
for it for
descended,
years, praying for it on
migrated
air.
I believe
north
in Jesus.
And the bestseller it's
Israel.
going to
Believe he
be.
died on a
And God
cross.
answers it on the day.
I
Still
believe
lining
he
up. This
rose
is north.
from the
Pentecost.
dead.
And then what
I believe
happens?
he's coming again.
probably
Return from my
Amazon
settling in
changes
Europe
the price from
and
11 to
northern
11.
Asia.
That Jesus
Because of
is my
this, some
Savior.
have
And I'm like, he's selling
postulated that Gog and Magog refer to
Bastard,
Russia.
right?
In Jesus' name.
God.
Amen.
The fun thing happened
and the ruler of Russia,
after
Magog,
Congratulations.
refers to Russia,
This
the
is
story.
Pastor
God,
Antonio.
that I know so well, Jacob.
What a
So
God
good-looking guy he
itself.
is, right, Tamara?
and then a
That's his
ruler
this
of
point in
Russia.
his life.
Magog.
So would you follow Pastor
done really
Antonio
good
on
come
over here
against
with some
Israel
of our
in the
team
end
members?
times.
We just want to spend a
two
couple
camps.
minutes, give you some
two
stuff.
families.
God bless you guys.
He's got
This is
We hope you
speculation.
enjoyed this
sources of
special
income.
service
He can
from
divvy it up
Calvary
based on
Church.
areas.
We'd love to know how
Ancestry
this
of the
message
Russian
impacted you. email
the
us
fact that
at
they are
mystory@calvarynm.church. And just a reminder, you can support this ministry with a financial gift at calvarynm.church/give. Thank you for joining us for this teaching
But in the
from
end,
Calvary
it
Church.
is still speculation based on
Esau.
inferences drawn from
And I get
Scripture.
scared.
Good afternoon,
And
everybody. This is
at
Steve
this
Wood.
The
point in my
battle
life, I
between
look at
these
everything
two.
and I understand that I'm supposed
The
to
battle
be
between
very
Enkie
brave
and
for
Enlil
everybody, and but
2021,
because I
that
know,
is
Listen,
described in
and I want to
the problem
Ezekiel
share
with me. It's not
comes
the problem
during a
with you.
time of
with you
peace.
guys.
Don't take
We're
this as
still
like,
here
oh,
on
no,
Israel.
Jacob's lost his
May
faith.
You know,
16th.
everybody's
I haven't.
taking the
Oh my
mask
goodness, my
off.
faith is
They're
so
getting
encouraged
it's like
right now.
everything
And you're going to see why
death
in a
and
second.
20th
starting to look like
and
that
21st,
peace
we're still here. May 22nd.
is coming, plus
we're just a few days away from
this
the
point in his
flood
life.
1,260 days.
He's splitting up his companies into all these
May
revenue
26th,
streams,
June
right?
14th.
You got your day job, your humble day job.
moment
You got
in
your
time.
YouTube,
Halfway
right?
through.
You got
But I
YouTube.
want
You got
This
your
is
website. You
thought
got
to
your
be
mouth.
during the time when Israel has made
Just
a
in
pact
case.
with the
I actually
Antichrist.
want
Just in
to
case.
follow the
During the
text
first
Because of
3.5
course,
years
we're
of
12
tribulation.
Becomes strange. Talk about.
pinpoint
Was there
we
not
really
a
need
pact
to
already made with the
find-
Antichrist just about 3.5 years ago?
which may lead
And
us
in this place,
to
Ezekiel
May 20th.
prophesied that a mighty nation
Now,
from
Jacob's greatest
the
time
north
is
of feeling
a
weak.
video that I did
Like,
way
I didn't
back
know
in
what
would
December
come against Israel,
He prays
that
out
God-
the scriptures.
2017.
would utterly
He
defeat
prays out
them.
the God. He says, "Look,
And
I'm
show
not."
his
we're-
I
power
want to go over this detail
and to show
that
Israel's
me and
enemies
a number of other people who were
that
watching.
he was their God
Remember Andy
But you
Hunt
made a
and
and would
promise.
protect them.
You know,
was
So
watching
It said,
God is going to
I'd
show
serve you. You
Israel's
took
there
care
were
of my
enemies
family.
other
Just want to
channels
remind
that
you
really
that
brought
he
this to our attention.
was
Just wanna
their
remind you.
God and would
And I
protect
saw
them.
what they were sharing, and I
Now,
was sharing
so
about
on this side of the north,
December
right near
17th,
This point in
SpongeBob, right near
Jacob's
the,
life, you know,
Hanukkah
right near
he's worried
on the
for.
Hebrew calendar.
He's worried for
you
the
know,
life
there's a
of his
witness over
family.
here,
And,
there's a
Worried
witness
about his
over
wives.
here.
I'm going to
He's
take
worried
you
about
to
his children.
Stellarium, and we can
The return
look
of
at
the
He's worried that
Jedi.
Esau's going to kill him.
We're going to look at how
SpongeBob
this
over here
the
on
sign
this
comes
side of
together
I'm
the
worried.
river,
in Stellarium
on
on
this
December
side,
17th. Now,
And I know
even
now.
what,
17 JFK, the river
what is
streams
being brought to our
slowly.
attention here
On
this
the
sign
clean
is that
side,
there was a
God's got a
lineup
plan.
of 5 planets
God's always got a
So if you
plan.
go down here,
Ophiuchus,
Self.
three-way
and
piece,
above
this point in his
number
life,
1
the
point.
serpent, there's a crown, and that
Oh,
crown has
you got a bestseller
7
finally.
stars.
Okay, well, we're going to change the price.
Okay,
Oh, it's no
Israel.
longer
it says in
bestseller
Revelation
anymore.
12,
Oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of that
first
flag.
flag.
another sign in the heaven.
We're going to make it harder for
Behold,
people to find it.
Obviously
great red
represents,
dragon having 7
you know,
heads.
mystery
Can do.
Israel and
Reached
Philadelphia
out, hey, can we
7
change the
crowns
price now?
upon
being
his
this
head.
side.
But I believe God will change
Go
the
to
price.
Revelation chapter 12.
So God
Let's
is going to
read
let
this
Broken.
and
let
see
them know
what
that
we
he
can
is the
find.
God of
What am I
Israel.
going to do? Breaking her heart.
The
She was crying.
exact
He's going to let Enkie know over here
Holding this perfect life.
fulfillment as this process is being carried out. There appeared a great wonder in heaven. Fine.
Plans that are going to fail.
Just
Plans
as there was
everywhere I
a
turn
wonder in
fail.
heaven,
No matter how
The
hard
Gog
I
and
plan,
Magog
the sun.
referred to in
There
Revelation,
appeared
however,
another
is not
Man can make
one nation,
plans.
but represents
God directs
hostile
us.
nations from
Second
all over
wonder,
the
I'll
world.
behold a great red
So he's
dragon,
broken.
having
He's
7
hanging
heads
on.
and 10 horns.
There's
7
nothing
crowns
but
upon his heads.
other nations,
Jacob in the Bible.
Italy. I heard
He,
there was a car crash over it.
that
or,
wasn't his
Cast
name.
him to the earth.
He was
and
given
the dragon
another
stood
name.
before the
rail
woman,
car.
which was ready to be
God
delivered
gave him a name.
for devour
with
to
everybody.
forget
devour
what
a
that
child
China's over
as
there.
soon as it was born.
So at the end of this
But
recipe,
there's nothing
God
but
has
flags
a man
representing all nations.
Who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron.
Who are you?
Her child was
God's
caught
asking,
up
That
who
to
are
Satan
to his
stirs
throne.
up
He's asking me.
to rebel
And
against
fled into the wilderness
God
where she hath
in the
a place
garage.
prepared for
after
God.
the 1,000 years
On the
of
Poland
peace.
Spring Water.
During the
1,200
What's your name?
Millennium
Who
Kingdom.
are you?
They will come,
So what we
you know,
want to find
undescribed amount of time.
is
One day.
I'm like, I know I'm not good.
They will come
I know I'm
against
trying. I'm not
Second
trusting
surround
you.
the city,
and
I know
then
I'm getting
from
into an
there,
argument
City of
with
God.
Danielle because I don't know what
but
to
their
do.
defeat will be
I know.
swift.
So let's go
And
back
Satan
to
I love
let's
Danielle
go
so much.
consequently will be
She's
thrown into the
amazing.
lake of
Okay.
fire.
Now
But
this
you can't
is
help
it.
September 23rd.
Alive.
Nobody can. Jacob's alone.
This is
This is a moment between me and God.
This
in a very dark
will
time.
occur just before the great
And I got the weight of the world on my
great
shoulders
white
because I know
throne
where everything's
judgment,
going.
also spoken of in
Well, I think I
Revelation.
do.
this into.
But Jacob thought he
Many
did too.
prophecies
And
in
then
the
what he
Bible
found out
fulfilled
was
once
Esau wasn't so bad after all.
during human
After
history history,
thinking
and
that
then
his family
again
was gonna be killed
during
and
the
all this stuff.
Millennium
You know what
Kingdom.
happens? He meets Esau.
It is possible that
And he's
the
like hobbling over to him humbly and weak. He's like, "Ah, just forgive
Revelation
me.
account refers
I'm
to
so
the
sorry.
antagonist.
I'm so sorry I
in this
talked bad about
in
religion.
this
Whole line of
Millennium battle.
I'm so sorry I
against
talked bad about
Gog
the
and
beast
Magog.
system.
because of the similarities between the two
from
battles.
So sorry.
In the Ezekiel account, Gog and
All the
Magog
way
See, in the
over.
time that
fought
Jacob's been
realize
running,
against
he's
Israel.
trying to hide who
So
he
God
is.
have
and
Saturn way
Magog
out here.
have
Keep everybody
evil thoughts
safe
against
and make
Israel.
everything work.
They surround
God's
Israel
moving.
with
Okay, so
great
this is going to
power
be
and enlist the help of
movement
allies
this,
from
and it's all
other
going to
nations,
be centered right
and
here
they
in
are eventually
Memphis.
destroyed by
So
God
December
himself.
17th. But so
Both of
on,
them.
on September 23rd,
And
this
Jacob
is the
says this
great
crazy
sign.
thing to
The
Esau.
same
called
three
the
details
sun.
are apparent
He calls him my
in the
Lord,
battle
right?
described
He says
in
he's
Revelation
like
account.
giving
Gog and
peace.
Magog
We have this
are
lineup here
deceived
of
by
Regulus,
Satan
Venus, Mars, Mercury, the
and
sun,
follow him into
And
the
that's
battle.
when the scripture
And the
hits.
So Gog and
and then we
Magog
have Saturn over here. Okay, now what we're going to
This
do
whole
is I'm
thing,
going
can
to
be
we're all
deceived
wrestling
by
with.
Satan, meaning
We're gonna
that the
focus on
spirit
Saturn.
that works in
That's our lack of faith.
Okay.
in
Now before
iniquity
we
and the disobedience of
before we
children.
move this,
So I don't know
I want you
The
to see
spirit
that
of
the head
disobedience
of
works into the
what I'm going to do
serpent.
yet.
Children of
It's been
disobedience.
24 hours, but I'm trusting
we
God.
go
meaning the
in
spirit
here.
itself.
I want you to see
And,
that in the
So
head
at
of
one
the
point,
serpent,
Gog
we have
and
1, 2,
Magog,
I have
these two
peace.
witnesses right
4,
here,
5, 6, 7 main
being
stars
deceived by
in the
Satan
head
Because
of
God
the serpent.
appeared to me
before
as
they
an
One,
enemy.
2, 3, 4,
realized
5,
actual
Just as he
6,
appeared
to follow
to
him in the
Jacob
battle.
in the
as
head
an
of the
enemy.
They are a great
that
number
moment,
that
He's a
includes
dragon
many
with
the
seven
Enkian
nations
heads.
place, because that's
and
what
are
the river
eventually
Jordan is,
destroyed by
right?
God
Palestine.
himself.
head of the serpent.
It's a
Okay.
place where you empty
Then we
yourself
have above his
of all your
head we have
strength.
a crown.
This is the
It
kind
says
of
there
faith
you go.
we
That
need.
title
helped me
This is the kind of
understand
faith that I should have been
some
sharing.
more about it.
I don't think I've ever done a video like this, but you know what? Honestly,
I'll
funny how
recenter
you-
everything later, but I want you to see the
I think
crown
it's
above
funny.
so
the head of the serpent. It's got 1, 2,
Keep your eye out.
4, 5, 6.
don't
Now,
forget to
Enlil-
subscribe
Okay.
and share and like and
So
comment.
we've got
Simple 52.
Keep your eye out for the video I'm
got
editing
the
right now.
serpent.
It's about the
Enlil
solar eclipse
with
is
7
the-
heads.
and my birthday,
So
got a
Enlil is the
crown,
Lord
which
of
happens the very
command,
next day,
Stars.
and
and Enkie is the
does have
illegitimate.
Okay.
pretty amazing
Enlil
significance.
is the
We're
firstborn,
gonna focus
legitimate
here on
firstborn,
And I hope that this
but
meant something to
Enkie
you.
was the firstborn
And,
born out of a
I
concubine.
hope that you remember now that maybe the book's not
Enlil
11:11
Let's
anymore.
move forward. We're gonna move forward.
would be
It's
the
10:85.
one
how
where
all of this
Who knows,
movement comes
right?
the
together.
proper
You know that the,
bloodline, meaning
December
the
17th.
Ginger
father
Snap,
It's gonna be an amazing lineup.
had a
right
daughter.
whoever that is on Twitter,
and then the daughter became his
said the book,
wife,
my novels,
And then
328 pages.
they had
and
a
she said
child.
Strong's Greek,
and then the
the
child
328, the number 328 is
was the firstborn,
isn't that crazy.
legitimate.
God is good.
But
He
the
needs to gird
father
up.
had a firstborn
tighten
from a
your
concubine, which would be Enkie, right?
But
And
no one's
Enlil
time.
is the actual
Okay.
Okay, now we're
I'm
gonna
not-
legitimate
get started
firstborn
this week.
because of the bloodline, because his mother
Mercury coming
is
in.
his
We've got
sister.
Click it.
Sun, we've got Jupiter.
Therefore, his father is his grandfather because his mother's father, like my mom's father, would be my grandfather. But if my
See how Mercury
grandfather slept with his daughter, which is my
Mercury's
mother, and
came
had
in
me,
and it does
well,
a
I would be
retrograde,
now my mother's brother,
okay, because it's,
and then
it's gonna stay right
my
in this area.
father's
Now we're moving into
grandson.
December 5th. '14th, 15, 16, 17.
and then 54, Michael standing up. 54,
Okay, here's
it
what
could be 54
we
years.
have on December 17th.
Michael standing up
We
in the
have
Garden of Eden, because
Saturn,
the
sun,
middle ground is
the
where,
moon, Venus,
this is why you don't pick a
and
side.
Mercury.
You go to where the 12 trees are, and because one of them's already
December 17th.
chopped down,
Ophiuchus.
being replaced, the woman with the 12 stars and
And what
the
we have then is
moon
we
on
have
her feet and the
a
clothed
serpent
with the sun
7 stars. We have a crown
can now take the 12th
of
spot
seven crowns.
and just
7
move
heads,
over.
7 crowns.
because if God is the co-pilot,
Okay, so this
then
sign
you need to move over
was
and let God be the pilot.
documented by me and by
The
many
13th.
others going back to
Because
December 17th.
when one of them's
2017.
chopped down,
Is this the sign?
he's
The
replaced.
dragon. 5 stars
12.
in the tail plus the 5 planet bodies.
This is the race.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main stars in the tail of the serpent.
And it is
plus the
the
5 planet
COVID-19
bodies.
shot dead center.
Saturn, the sun, Venus, Mercury, and the moon. Okay.
The cross of Calvary, the three
And so this
3 crosses
makes up the 10 horns.
and the X marking spot there. I don't know
7
why it's
heads,
kind of messing up.
10 horns.
So who
Right. The dragon arrival at the ISS and
Biden,
capture
Satan,
December
prophecy.
17, 2017.
who
And here's
great
another video. I'll
Satan
leave the
dark
links
council.
to Andy's video. He's got a
so
couple
who's Satan? Satan is the
videos
dragon.
here.
Who's the dragon?
The
Dragon
amazing
is,
sign of the dragon from
is the
Revelation
devil,
12
that,
verses
that
3 and
old
4.
serpent.
December 17, 2017. Okay.
So again, I'm still
So
looking
I'm
at
not the
who
only one
being
that
down
had this
here,
documented.
what being at North Broad
And
Street,
I did not document this first.
being the
I
serpent.
went off of other
Satan
people that were
representing the serpent.
watching this. So this will be a key piece
Who's
of
on first?
information.
What's on
Okay,
second?
I'm sure anybody watching this video
Who-
is
who
probably
comes
familiar with this
What
sign
comes second?
from September the 23rd, 2017, straight out of Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. What we have here
David
is the
and
woman
Goliath.
clothed with the sun, the virgin clothed with the
The
sun,
virgin.
with the moon at her feet, with a crown
So,
of 12
again,
stars, giving birth to the
Still
king.
lining up.
But this
They
video
worship
is
the
really
virgin.
about
What is the virgin?
next bit from
Well, the virgin
Revelation
is a
12,
man
where
turned-
it says,
turned to
chapter
woman.
3 says, then another sign appeared in heaven.
Used to
Behold, a great
have
red
this
dragon
out.
having 7 heads
That
and 10
was-
horns, and on his head were 7 diadems, and his tail swept away a third of the stars in heaven. So,
And now it's
just to confirm that
inverted
this, people have
as
gone
you cross
forward
over to
thousands
Jordan
of years and back thousands of years
to the
and
other
this sign
side.
does not appear again. But
Room
just to add confirmation to this
237.
sign, let's show you where the next sign of the dragon appears.
So the
So if you
Binswanger
just
triangle
zoom out slightly, and I'll take
being,
this forward 2 months. You'll see Mars, Venus,
what did I
and
say?
Mercury, and the Sun all move down through Virgo,
God,
as
no,
does Jupiter.
no.
And we go down to December.
Oh, the Virgin.
the
They worship the Virgin
13th,
because, well, that would be the
is
Virgin
start of
woman.
Hanukkah,
The Virgin woman
2017.
with this host body system
to
is
so let's move in.
this
so here
system
we have
inside of your belly.
constellation Serpens, or the
because you're in the
serpent.
beast
So
of
there's
belly
the head of
3 days and
serpents,
then
of
you
the
finally get
serpent,
spit out.
and
Finally get spit out
there's
into
the
the.
tail of the serpent.
And
So
I'll tell you, when you look
zooming,
at this,
here we have the
from
7
this way,
stars which represent the.
I mean, it
7
just has
heads of
a-
serpents. You've got 1, 2.
It has some
3,
kinda
4, 5, 6,
push rod
7 stars. And
cylinder.
on his head, he has a
And it just looks like that
and
fits in
Corona
here,
Borealis
goes in
represents
here,
the 7 diadems.
because this,
Again, have
this
1,
happens.
2,
Dead
3,
sheep.
4, 5,
And then
6, 7 stars of Corona Borealis.
That system
So there you
inside
have 7
of your
heads
host body
with the 7 diadems.
being
on
the
it.
Virgin, because now you became
The
a
tail of
woman, you became a
serpents
virgin.
only
Virgin
has 5 stars, so
woman.
it wasn't complete. So you had 1,
Trumpy
2,
bear.
3, 4, 5 stars in the tail of serpents.
And we're getting the 6th
But
seal.
by this time we have
Yahoo,
Saturn, Mercury,
Shua,
Venus, Jupiter,
death
and
of
Mars.
King David.
So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Corrupted high priest.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 horns being represented here. And then over
Elon.
here, because the tail
Elon
sweeps away a
Musk.
third of the sky, we have the constellation Hydra,
Chicago
which has an ascension of
2035
8 hours,
insurrection
so it
takeover.
covers a third of the sky.
Doves
There you have the tail
Esau.
that sweeps away
Jacob.
a third of the stars in the sky.
and
So
Esau.
just confirmation, we have the 7 heads.
God
7
hated Esau.
diadems.
He
We
hated
have
the deeds of the
10 horns
Nickelodeons, I
around
think.
here. And here
They're
we have
called
the tail that sweeps away the stars of a third of the
Elias.
stars in the sky. And that is on
Frog, unclean
Hanukkah.
frog.
In December,
Will he become a
2017,
hero?
Just after the sign in Virgo in September 2017 on Rosh Hashanah.
Lucia.
I should tip my hat to Eternal Rhythm Flow that pointed me in the right direction of where to find this, but it's all there.
Bear,
The chances of all these bits
bearable.
and pieces coming together at this.
With the
Well, so far, if you go with the gematria code
planetary bodies
as to
right
what the elite want to tell you,
in
here at Schuylkill River,
the
Kill Devil
constellation
Hills.
of Ophiuchus,
it goes over
we got
here.
the 5 stars in
You know,
the
it's like
tail,
regular color water, and then it
plus
comes
the
over
5
here. It's
bodies,
the Red
the
Sea.
10 horns. We've got
It's
the
red,
7
it's a
heads,
bloodbath.
the 7 crowns.
It's a bloodbath because after
Here
you
we have
after you get the surgery, you're sitting in the
Sign
bathtub.
of the Dragon,
It's
December
bloody.
17th, 2017.
So with Enkie being here,
1260 days brings us to May 29th, 2021.
Enlil being down on the
3
other
days
end
from the blood moon. The third
at
day
1 North
from the
Broad
blood moon.
Street,
So if we're still here,
the one that's coming from
now,
the
and
north.
we're still here, coming up to May 26th.
The Masons
we go
worship
past
Lucifer.
The blood moon. We have a very
Lucifer
important
came
connection
down,
that
fell
could
from
be
heaven,
pointing us
came down from the
to
north,
May
literally.
29th, 2021.
Uh,
And as Andy said in
as
this video, I pray
Magog,
we're blessed by this
because
we're watching for the return of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
being the Son of
Have a wonderful
Man,
day. This is Steve Fletcher with the trumpet for my people.
Son of Man say
Zion
unto
is
Gog,
revealed.
which would be down here at the other end, Gog, Enkie, Enlil, Magog. You know, according to gematria, from what I got so far. Michael standing up, 54. Rainbow and Casimir. Rainbow is 1. Casimir, 54. Returning to the Jedi. There's 2 witnesses. But there's also 2, because there's a twin system, but there's also, because there's one snake and another snake behind it. Brothers, one of them's illegitimate because, yeah, he was born first, but from a concubine. Enkie likes to party a lot. So does, I think, Belshazzar. Belshazzar likes to party. But the writing's on the wall. I mean, it's clear as day. The writing is all over the place. And it even looks like Jonathan Click. Hair like women, face of a man, winketh with the eye, microphone, dead sheep in the ear. Here's the square part of the headphone. Hair. The key of David would be in his forehead on a up. This road work was purposely done to look like a key. So Michael standing up. 1 Magog Neo. Who is Satan? So Satan's down there. So what about what? If Satan says, if what says like Lucifer or something? 52 also. That's the same exact thing. I don't know, is it? God, 7, heaven goddess. God, 7th, the 7th angel is about, the 7th angel's about to blow. Time is running out. I know. It's unbelievable. Mabus Nostradamus, 8th immortal scholar of the hand. See, free your mind. I agree. I agree with that. Thank you, Father. Chief Shepherd David. And it's so Chief Shepherd David, because who is down there at Enkie's spot, and then Chief Shepherd David being what one? What, who, me? Lamp of the abyss. Because the son of David, Christ is the son of David, but why did David call him Lord if he's, I don't know, you're so retarded with your interpretation, Rob. You just need to shut up. Because he's from the line of David. The line of David. is the one that that Christ comes from. Oil of olives. Devil. Oh yeah, I already seen this one. 52. That's right. Yeah, devil, Nero. Wasn't that 1, 2? Earth, Pope, Gates. Oh, it's what? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Look, what and Enlil is right there. Same thing. Enlil being at 1. And what? Because what's on second? What comes second? Who's on first? Who's down there? Who is the serpent down there at the Philadelphia Art Museum? This thing is already 1. Just waiting for the time to go by. Yeah, I think it's so far this is what's been on my mind about who and what and Enkie and Enlil and Gog and Magog and the Son of Man. Because God is saying to the Son of Man, go say to Gog, the angel of the Lord, a teaser trailer. Rainbow. Jedi.